Hello, Danhausen here. Danhausen here to let you know that you are watching Dre41 Gaming. They do video games of some sort. Who knows? Danhausen doesn't. But you're very nice, very evil, do time. And if you do not watch this channel, you shall rue the day.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dre41, aka Mr. 4K, aka El Fuego, Spicy Dre, and welcome to another episode of The Ultimate Fighter on King of Colosseum Red and Green. Enough with the talking, let's get to it. Alright, so man, this tournament is still continuing, and basically what I'm trying to show you guys is who is the best MMA fighter in King of Colosseum Red and Green. Red and Green are two separate games, and the one issue that I do have with this game, and I'm not gonna stunt, this is one of the best wrestling games, point blank period. I know a lot of people sit there and put like No Mercy, Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth, you know what I'm saying, even WWE 13 or 14, right? And granted, those are like supreme wrestling games. I'm gonna say out of all those, to be honest, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, oh, I didn't say that one, but yeah, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 and either WWE 13 or 14 I mess with hard. Don't get me wrong, Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain are great games. Those are great, I still have them to this day. But the one thing I would say is the reason why is because we didn't have access to games like this. That's a big thing. You don't know what's a great wrestling game. Well, we only go based upon what we played. And, you know, people who live, you know, like either in, you know, the Western Hemisphere, even in the Eastern Hemisphere, you feel me? Like, not everybody has access to buy these Japanese exclusive games. And I would wager, if they did an English translation on these and didn't make the gameplay time-based, that these games right here, like not just King of Colosseum, I'm gonna also throw in Wrestle Kingdom 1 and 2. If they came out with an English translation, what? Dog, it'll be really difficult for people to sit there and say like the WWE games from back in the day would be better. Real talk. Now you can sit there and talk about graphics, right? Because let's be honest, this game has a lot of characters in it. And when you throw in a lot of characters in a game, you know, you're gonna have to downsize on graphics. So granted, graphics aren't the best. Also, this is not an emulator, this is actually hardware. This is the PlayStation 2, a Japanese PlayStation 2, and the actual game running on the PlayStation 2. Yeah, I would have to argue that graphics aside, not even to say the graphics are bad, like, this game has 100 and something wrestlers in it. Here Comes the Pain didn't have 100 wrestlers. Shut Your Mouth didn't have 100 wrestlers. You feel me? Like, back in the day to have this many wrestlers in the game, you gotta take away from something. You got to. And so, basically, you know, the graphics aren't the best. You feel me? But overall, man, just the look of the game, the modes, the different characters you get to utilize. That's a huge thing. Like, I think if this came out, when, you know, back in, you know, in English, if this came out in English back, you know, in the early 2000s, we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. Young boy Dre wouldn't know what to do with himself with this game. If it was in English and I could create different wrestlers, bruh, I don't even know what the limit is to create wrestlers. I'm pretty sure it's a high limit. But like I would be amazed. I would be amazed. Granted, would I have known a lot of these people? No, I wouldn't have. You feel me? If they put like a biography page or something, do a couple of just bios in here. You know, just explaining who these people are, where they wrestled, notable feuds, something like that. Okay, cool. That's tough. You feel me? So now it's like I'm invested because I know You feel me? Where these people come from, what they do, how they got into this game. You feel me? Like that would have been so tough to have. You feel me? And it's like if we had that, this game would have been up there. I'm so serious. Wow, he gave up off of being punched. Wow. Alright, so now we're going to go to the next one, which is Yuki Sasaki, and Masakutsu Katsu Funaki. Let's get to it. But yeah, like, I mean, just having a game like this, like, available to us, because, I mean, think about it, right? Power Move Pro Wrestling. A lot of you guys don't know what that game is. Granted, I understand it. It is what it is. I'm not stressing it, right? But think about it. You got Power Move Pro Wrestling, which is basically Token Retsuden, an Americanized version of Token Retsuden, right? Now, I'm gonna be honest. I think the characters in Power Move Pro Wrestling, they were great original characters. Great original characters. I like the entrances. Well, they didn't really have entrances, but I mean like the introductions, Very creative. And some of the characters' intros are hilarious. But I would have been happier with it being a New Japan Pro Wrestling. I would have been like once again, just put it in English. I mean, think about it, right? Let's say you're the publisher and they come at you with this game and they're like, oh, well, nobody would know who these guys are. You can just change the names up and make them generic. Well, what's the difference? If we're not going to know who the New Japan guys are, but we know it's an official product, that's going to get us interested. That's going to get us to want to know about, New Japan. Which, once again, like, that would be so cool. So I think, like, instead of, like, making a generic version with generic names, hell, put them in. Wrestling fans are worldwide. Like, I could watch New Japan. I could watch Noah. I could watch All Japan Pro Wrestling and not have to understand what the commentators are saying. Dead serious. Because think about it, right? When you go to a wrestling show, you don't hear commentary. Real talk, you're seeing what's in the ring. What's in the ring is the entertaining part. That's what's keeping your attention. So it's like, don't get me wrong, commentary definitely helps bring you into the story, but you could also get the emotion of it. Like in this game, dog, the reason why you don't hear commentary now is because the game is sped up. So you're not going to hear commentary, you feel me? Because it's going to be sped up. It's going to sound crazy. So, they have like life, and it's like it goes from like beginnings of the match to like them being frantic when like they kick out at 2.9, and like when they finish the match, like Yahoo! Like it's hilarious. Like that's what I enjoy. Like I think, even though I don't understand what they're saying, because I don't understand Japanese, it's still entertaining, and it still brings like that life into the match. Like, I mean, like, you can hear it in their voice, and it brings a dynamic that you sometimes don't get from American wrestling games. Now, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. People could say whatever they want. I'll fight you to the end of the world. I'm going to say this, and this is what I have determined to be a fact for me. So I guess an opinion. The Acclaim wrestling games, Warzone, Attitude, Hardcore Revolution, Anarchy Rules, had some of, if not, the best commentary. I'll say it again. Warzone, Attitude, Hardcore Revolution, Anarchy Rules had some of the best wrestling commentary, point blank. Now, name me a wrestling game that you've played, an American wrestling game, that had great commentary. Please, let me know in the comments below. Please let me know. Because I'm telling you, whatever game you think the acclaimed wrestling games, and I'm not talking about Showdown, I'm not talking about Legends of Wrestling, I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about American wrestling games from WWE. Hell, you could put in, okay, WCW Mayhem. So I'm going to do the acclaimed wrestling games, the 4 acclaimed wrestling games, and WCW Mayhem. I'm going to say those games right there. Best commentary, point blank. Alright, so the next match is going to be Kakuta Sane versus Masakatsu Funaki. Let's get to it. But back to what I was saying though. So, yeah, commentary-wise, it's like those games, those American games, are it. There's no... I stand by this. I stand by this. There is not a better commentary than those 5 games. Now, unless you forgot, Attitude. Well, first of all, let's go in order. Warzone, Attitude, Hardcore Revolution, Anarchy Rules, Mayhem. Best commentary in wrestling games, period. Don't get me wrong. Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain, excellent games. One of them doesn't even have commentary, I don't think. I think it just got music. So even the top tier, like No Mercy, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, they don't have commentary, right? So even those top tier games don't have commentary, or some of them do, but they're iffy, wishy-washy, right? And then you get into like the WWE series. Granted, like I said, 13 and 14 are one of my favorites, but they have rinse and repeat commentary. And then when you get into the WWE, the 2K, definitely, rinse and repeat. Real talk. Like, that's just a fact. It's rinse and repeat. So, the best commentary for wrestling games are the older ones that came out 20 years ago. And then you have these, which once again, came out like 20 years ago, close to. I mean, they came out 2002, 2003, 4, 5. Wrestle Kingdom 2 came out 2007, I think. So, it's still, 15 to 20 years ago. You feel me? It still holds that weight because they had an understanding that commentary also tells story. You're hearing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to hear something. Hearing music while playing a wrestling game, I never really liked that. It always seemed like it was trying to be a fighter. But that's to me though, like some of those games, it seemed like they wanted to make it like a fighting game. And for me, it just didn't work like that. Like I don't think professional wrestling isn't like a fighting game, even though initially it was set up like that. Not initially, I said like basically the WWF games, like Super WrestleMania, the arcade game, and In Your House, like that was Mortal Kombat with wrestling skin over it. And then even like Warzone and Attitude and Hardcore Revolution, Anarchy Rules, they had inputs like it's a fighting game because once again, on the American side, there wasn't like an idea of how to set up a wrestling game, and they treated it like a fighting game. But I think as time evolved, you feel me, like there was a system set up to differentiate wrestling and fighting games, and also MMA games as well, which was good. God, Sine is teeing off. Funaki, get it together now. You getting washed, good brother. Yeah, like you see the evolution of wrestling games to where it is now, and even now, like the commentary, I turn it off. I'm gonna be honest, and that's something that I need to also convey to Virtual Basement with the wrestling code. Like that's also important. Commentary will make or break it presentation wise. That's important, man. And granted, like, would it be cool to have someone who's well known for commentary? Sure. But a lot of them already got jobs. You feel me? So it's like, you know, it wouldn't be easy. So it's like, hell, you could grab people from the community to do it. Shoot, for an example, DPW. Like, these are YouTubers who enjoy wrestling, calling commentary. Now, do they curse too much? I feel like eventually they're gonna have to slow down on like cursing so much during commentary. I know that they're not like professionals and don't have like, you know, past jobs in like, you know, television or entertainment as opposed, you know, from YouTube. But still, it's commentary is important. It really is. All right, so up next is Tamura Kiyoshi versus Kakuta Sane. Let's get it. But yeah, back to what I was saying, man, is in regards to like commentary in wrestling games, yo. You can't tell me a wrestling game that came out in the last 10 years that really had commentary that was entertaining, that you really listened to. Like, you haven't. And it's like, to be completely honest, it's missing that. It's missing those like times where it's like, all right, communicate with the fans about a specific wrestler. Like, commentary is always supposed to be running, except when entrances happen. You feel me? Like, that's the only time, because you're supposed to be looking at the spectacle and listening to the music. And the announcer like announce the wrestler that's coming in. You feel me? That's the only time when commentary doesn't talk. And there's dead space in wrestling games. Like, sometimes there is. I'm not sitting there saying some games do it, some games don't. All wrestling games do it. But there has to be a way to have that filled in. You feel me? When it's like not a big move that's happening or something. You can have like something in the middle to say. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, back to what I was saying, like commentary, man. Presentation. Presentation, I feel like is a lost art in wrestling games. I feel like a lot of these I hope the AEW game has an incredible presentation. What a lot of wrestling games fail to do is to give you the presentation of the product of what you see on the screen, or like what you see on TV. You don't get that. I hope the AEW game has that. I hope. WWE games, I don't even expect it anymore. Like they are. I'm not gonna say like they're in like their rebrand. Like, don't get me wrong, 2K22 is a solid title. It's not perfect. It's solid. But I don't know. I enjoy presentation. I enjoy entrances, camera angles, the spectacle. That's what makes wrestling, pro wrestling, wrestling. It's a spectacle. It's a show that has wrestling in it. You feel me? Like, that's what I want to see. A spectacle. Damn, homeboy, you are like, what is that in his hand? Yeah, enough about what's in his hand. But yeah, like I'm really interested in seeing like presentation. And once again, like, this is not stuff that passes my mind or something that I forget about when I'm speaking to the devs at, you know, virtual basement. It's like, I would love to see a wrestling game that encompasses everything about pro wrestling, that doesn't miss aspects. Like, I would love to see, like, even in the wrestling code, you can have MMA fighters. I said it in the last video. You don't necessarily have to have real fighters. You can make up people, dead serious. Make up like 3 or 4 people and have them like MMA movesets, so somebody can make an MMA fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, all styles of pro wrestling. It's not just one style. You feel me? Like, I feel like it's important to have like just overall, like, once again, it's like I would love to have a 3D version of Fire Pro, because Fire Pro is like that game. Like, Fire Pro Wrestling World came out, what, 2016? 2015, something like that? And people still play it to this day? Come on now, that means something. That means they have an understanding of what people want, how they want to utilize the game. Like, I would love to go on YouTube, and I'm going to use this as a wrestling coach specific, and I would love to see people just send matches in the wrestling code. I would love to see that eventually. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. All right, so we're going to call it there. That's going to be it for this episode today. Subscribe if you're new here. Definitely like this video. It helps me out a bunch. Basically, it helps other people get to see this video, and you know how, that's how YouTube works, I guess. But on the next episode, you get to see Yoshi Takayama, the guy who I think is going to win this, go up against Kakuta Sene. But once again, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. Catch you on the next episode. Later.